Only 2 teams, guys, have lost a home game by that much and have gone on to win a title. 2000, the Lakers, and then 1992, the Bulls. Jayson Tatum struggled in the playoffs so far this year. He's making just 41% of his shots and has only made 2 25-point games. Both came in Celtics losses, by the way. One player, though, who is surging, we got to give him his flowers. Donovan Mitchell, he scored over 25 in 5 straight playoff games. He's the second Cavs player ever to do that. Of course, he is joining LeBron James. So, Mr. Wilbon, let's start with Jayson Tatum, who should be the best player on the best team in this series. But I'm not sure that we can say that. How can he shake this uneven play?
Be better. I mean, he's got to start with just one game, particularly on the road. We know the Celtics have actually struggled at home the last 3 years, 14-14 in playoff games. Jaylen Brown has been better than his teammate Jayson Tatum so far in these playoffs. That's not an awful thing. The Celtics need both of them to be terrific, if not great. But Jayson Tatum, I think we all think that this is his time. This postseason is his time. We're talking about Summer Olympics coming up.
Right.
We're talking about a contract extension. There are all sorts of reasons that it seems that Jayson Tatum, just his skill level, his bag, as the youngsters like to say, is runneth over, right? So it's his time. Why isn't he playing up to that so far? It starts one game. We'll put it aside if he comes back and gives the Celtics a lead in this series by winning this.
We're not going to engage in the Dear Abby syndrome where we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on at this point. Figure it out. Figure it out. That's what this really comes down to. Let's talk about Jayson Tatum for a second here. You brought up Jaylen Brown, right? First of all, it's no surprise that Jaylen Brown is being better than him in the postseason because he was better than him in the finals when they lost to the Golden State a couple of years ago. We all know that Jaylen Brown was the best player on the Boston Celtics in that series. Not the best player in the series, but the best player on the Boston Celtics. We all love Jayson Tatum. We all know what a superstar kind of caliber talent he is. No shade there. But here's where the shade comes in. The shade of not measuring up to expectations. 21.7 points, lowest in the postseason since 2019. 41% shooting, worst of his playoff career. 27% shooting from three-point range, worst of his playoff career. Piggybacking off of what you didn't do 2 years ago. Last year, you get injured in that Game 7 after being down 0-3, but then tying it up to force a Game 7, and then you get hurt early. You come back this year, you're on the record in front of Malika Andrews, the greater Malika Andrews here, telling the world, I think I'm the best in the world. And we all know we've been waiting to see it. And then the playoffs begin, and you're giving us this? Nah. Jayson Tatum is great. He is not good. Those numbers are entirely acceptable for someone who is good. Someone who is great, it is entirely unacceptable. And I say that, I don't like having this frown on my face considering how good I look in this suit. But it's the truth. I feel
I'm just going to ignore the last part.
This show is going to be a wild ride. I just already can see that.
I said, you know, it's interesting. I always liked watching, after playoff games, the press conferences. And I know you both were in those rooms or in those rooms a lot. You can find out a lot. And what Jayson Tatum said after that loss was, you know, we're not expected to win every game, and our team's not that great. I was kind of like, well, I don't expect you to win every game, but a home game versus a team that I think you're a lot better than, I do expect you to win that game. I don't think that's unfair.
Right.
So okay, what both of you said, we'll give you that game. I don't like just saying we gave up a playoff game, but that's what we're doing. They did it. It's done. So now you say, okay, we threw that one away, a home game for that. Cleveland has home court now. You just gave away what you earned all season by being the 1 seed. You just gave it back to Cleveland. Now Boston's saying, we're not worried, we're fine. Well, we'll find out. We got this game coming up. You give away this game? Because winning a playoff game on the road, I don't care how good you are, is not easy. It's hard.
The other thing is, to piggyback off your point, to really accentuate it even more, the Cavaliers entered Game 2 with the 15th ranked offense out of the 16 playoff qualifiers. And still ended up scoring 118 points, 128.3 points per game.
Let me raise this question. Is it possible that the Boston Celtics are just bothered by the expectations?
Could be.
They weigh so heavily on them that this is what we're looking at.
Then you know what? That could be their demise.
Yes.
Expectations are part of it. When you're great, that is part of it. You guys have covered some great teams. That's part of it. Here's what bothers me a little bit. When you're in a playoff series and you lose a home game, you know what you could have done in that game? You could have removed all hope from Cleveland. You know what you just did? Well, we can beat these guys.
Extended hope.
We beat these guys.
You gave them hope. Hey, let's give me some hope.
They were down by 29.
I'll tell you what, part of dominance from a team or individual is letting people think they can't beat you.
Right.
You just gave them hope. And you know what? Celtics are still the better team, in my opinion.
They are.
But you just made it a lot harder to win the series. And that's the part. Yeah, that's right. You didn't have to do that.
Well, Cleveland is undefeated at home this postseason, and the Boston Celtics, they haven't lost back-to-back games this postseason. So one of those two streaks is going to come to an end tonight.
NBA,